Hey, this is Megan from Patchulator, and today I'm going to show you how to apply my elbow patches. Here's what you'll need. You'll need a garment, a towel, an iron, a pair of scissors, a piece of paper, your patches, and the sewing kit that comes with it. In the kit, you have 4 pins, a needle, 2 safety pins, and some embroidery floss. First thing you will need to do is place 1 patch on 1 sleeve of your garment. I usually use 2 pins to do this, 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom. You do not need to place both patches right now. I'll show you a trick later in the video on how to match up the second patch. This might take a few tries, and you might want to try it on to make sure it's in the right position. So something super important to note before we start to iron on the patch is, while this material is super beautiful, it's also super heat sensitive, so it's very important that you put a damp towel between the patch and the iron. If you don't do this and you just do the iron directly on, it will make a hot mess, it will be stinky, it'll look really bad, and you'll probably get really mad at me, and then my feelings will be really hurt. So just don't do that. And then next, you wanna take your piece of paper, you fold it, and you wanna put it in your sleeve behind the patch. And then this will help prevent the chance of the patch sticking to the other side of the sleeve as we're ironing it on. So now we're gonna get our iron. Once you got the iron nice and hot, gently take your pins out and then get your damp towel, put it on top of the patch, get your iron. You wanna apply a little bit of pressure, but not too much. Maybe hold for about 3 or 4 seconds and then check on it. And then you just wanna keep going with the same motion. You might need to reheat the iron. You wanna remember that this is not supposed to be stressful. This is supposed to be something that's like relaxing and like calming. At least that's how I view these sort of things. And I hope you can too. And since we are gonna be sewing the edges on, you don't need the patch to be 100% adhered to the garment. About like 70 or 80% should do the trick. So now we're gonna sew on the patch. So you wanna get out your little sewing kit, and you're gonna need your needle and your embroidery floss. And I cut a generous amount of the floss so you have enough to sew both the patches on. And as you can see, there's actually 6 strings, and you can either use all 6 or you can use less. I normally like to use 3, but it's up to you. So you wanna unwind some of the thread. I usually use about 30 inches to start with. You don't need to start with too much or too little. So I'll usually do about like this much. So now you wanna cut it. And then if you're gonna do 3, or however many you wanna do, if you wanna do less than 6, you just wanna start to separate them. And you wanna do this really slowly. So now you wanna tie your knot. I usually do 2, but it's up to you. Thread your needle, have a little tail. So now you wanna go in the sleeve and pull the needle all the way through the outer edge of the patch. And for this video, I'm gonna show you how to do a blanket stitch. If you wanna do a different stitch, that's fine, but that's what we're gonna be doing today. And as you can see, I also included this really great guideline because I love you and I want you to look your best. And you just do your stitches along this line, and I'm telling you, it will make things go a lot faster and it will look really cohesive and super professional. Okay, so now let's get to stitching. And you just want to bring your needle in the back and pull it up to your stitch line. And we're just gonna be looping it through. That's so. And you don't want to pull it too tight, you don't want it too loose. And once you get going, you'll start to get your rhythm down. It's also important to, check occasionally to make sure you're not sewing the sleeve together. So yeah, pull it up to the stitch line, pull it through, and then knot. So there'll come a point where you're gonna run out of thread and you're gonna need to get a new string. So what you're gonna do, you're just gonna do a stitch, pull it through, and then you wanna take your needle and your thread and you're gonna go back into the stitch that you just did along the outside of the patch, and you're gonna pull the needle all the way through the sleeve so you can't see it anymore. You might have to roll up the sleeve a little bit. So you're on the inside of the sleeve now. Okay, and you're just gonna wanna do like an X or a knot, whatever you wanna do to secure it. I usually do 2 knots. Okay, and then you're just gonna cut whole string, but you wanna leave a little tail. So now you have your needle threaded, and you're just gonna go back into the stitch that we just finished and pull it all the way through. It might take a few tries to get it in the exact spot. Pull it all the way through, and then you just want to continue with your stitches again. Okay, so now that we're done, we're gonna pull the needle through the last stitch we did, just like when we ran out of thread earlier, all the way through the sleeve. Flip it to the inside, and then you're just gonna knot it. And then cut it, and you're done. So now I'm gonna show you how to match up the second patch on the other sleeve. What you're gonna do is you're gonna fold the garment in half. If there's buttons, make sure you button all the buttons up. So now you wanna make sure that the shoulders are aligned and the underarm. And once you get those in a good spot, you just wanna take your safety pins, pin it like this. Up here, make sure it's nice and even. And then you wanna do the same thing in the underarm. And then you wanna get your second patch. You're just gonna feel on the other side with the patch that we just sewn down, and we're just gonna line it up that way. And once you get that in a spot that you like, you just wanna get your pins, like we did at the beginning of the video, pin your patch down, and then just start all over again. Okay, so that's it. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I'm super excited about this new product, and I hope you are too. You can also use this technique to apply any Patchulator patches. Yeah, like, comment, share, email me if you have any questions. This is my first time ever doing something like this, so I'm sure there's probably room for improvement. But yeah, thanks. Bye.